Hey, Senor Bryce. He's back with us again, the bearer of coffee. How you going, mate? Hope you're staying upwards on your bike. We've had some bad news the last few days. A lot of people with some little ailments that appear to be popping out for the negativity. And some people not making it into the military due to some medical situations. Guys and gals, it's so frustrating to see someone lose their dream to join the Australian Army. Or any army, when that is their calling, the footsteps of their fathers, their mothers, their friends. But there is a massive difference between having an ailment while you're in the military than having an ailment before you join. Because unfortunately, there is massive compensation pensions attached to these said conditions. Okay? So, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm putting on my glasses of wisdom. Leo Wanker, the stuntman, he's here first. We've got Mr. Bryce has come back on as the bearer of coffee. I will have said coffee tomorrow, and I'll make sure that it's a large. Thank you, Nutsu Cow, Mr. Bryce, the Harley driving veteran. We've got Navy veteran. Okay, ran over, just had to get that off my chest. Bad duty yesterday. You get a bit seasick yesterday, did you, Navy veteran? Lauren, the eyes of justice there in the chat. We've got Elijah Z. The topic will be hot. Navy veteran, this is going to be a ripper of a topic. Okay, team, let's give Kaz the support he deserves. Thank you, team. Thank you very much. Elijah, you've got a nice name, Mr. Manor. That is a nice name. Are we meaning the blue power of cultural freedom? Foxy lady. Mr. Buckaroony, how you going, mate? Did you watch the video? I hope you enjoyed it. Howdy team, Joshy Fawns is here as he always is. Good to have you here, mate. Arcane, g'day. And we had some guys last night that were doing their actual assessment sessions today. They haven't got back to me, so hopefully it's all good news. Yep, I really hope it is. We've got Rural Hunter. He's here for the 13 months. Boom, not so cow. Good to have you here, and I hope you're not hunting me, sir. Jennifer G has just had her operation, and she's now back out. Okay, got the wounds healed and good to go. William John, Willie J, good to have you here. But he's saying hello to Lauren, not Kaz. All right. Okay, team. So what we're going to talk about tonight, I got a message sent me today about it looks at this stage like an Air Force woman in the UK, Air Force, understanding that they work out of the recruiting office, has actually resigned her commission for the Queen, who's our boss, after being given HR quota targets for equity, diversity, minority, potentially LGBT and feminine targeting, with the goal being 20% minority groups, etc., with 40% female. It's there in the screen, 40% female representation. Now, there's a big problem with this, guys and gals, and I'm going to let you know something. Diversity comes with the way we think. There is diversity in ranks. There is diversity in leadership. There is diversity in picking commanders to do certain roles. There is diversity of thought, and we are even trained to never plan in isolation. There's always diversity. It is not in what you put or your sexuality or where you're from, etc. Because that doesn't make squat unless you can do the rest, the standards. And I've put some of those what I believe they should be as the Australian Army core values. Capability, courage, mateship, respect and legacy. Understand that what you do today will live a lifetime through the eyes of those that you later train. You never want to look back and know that you weren't a net positive for your team, regardless of what your core was or representation. Jared McMichael is here too. Nutsu Cow, great to have you here. Thank you, mate. So let's have a look at what Robbie sent to me today. We'll have a quick read and then we'll extrapolate with some of the words we put out there. So again, I believe this was an Air Force actual piece. And I've spoken over this with Lauren, who gave some clarity as well. Thank you very much. I can see Carl P. The family meeting's over for the night there. Well done, Carl P. So RAF diversity, senior female recruitment officer resigns over targets. Okay, and this was written by Jonathan Beale, defence correspondent, on the 17th of August 2022. So it's as current as Sultana. See what I did there? A senior female RAF recruitment officer has resigned amid claims of pressure to meet diversity targets. The unnamed group captain is reported to have voiced frustration that white men were rejected in a bid to recruit more ethnic minorities and females. The Royal Air Force aims to target 20% for minority roles and ethnicity and 40% for women among new recruits for 2030. All right, so that's the article. One thing we need to remember is you want your people to be volunteers. Okay, you want the people that join the Army, Air Force, Navy, Fire Brigade, Police Force, paramedics. You want the cut of their jib, that I say that for the Navy veteran. You want that to be of the highest order, because ultimately the forces, everything, to be honest, is not a social experiment. You're not supposed to play that with people's place of occupation, how they feed their families. Otherwise, you end up spending so much more money retraining people when leadership and morale sinks. Again, Navy veteran. Let that cabin boy go. Jared, forgot to reply to your last message. Sorry, that's all right. Brad, afternoon, Brad. 46, VR 46. That's Valentino Rossi's number. Zane Robinson, g'day team, how are we? Billy Zane went down with the Titanic. No, he didn't. He escaped. Jay Frey. Hey guys, g'day Jay. How you going? Lightfoot, teach me your ways, Sensei Lauren. I've got to tell you, Lauren's painting has gone up even further. It has really stepped up. It's incredible. You know. What we're going to do here quickly too is I'm going to read you out before I go into what the core values are. I'll do that now of the Australian Army right now, and we'll talk a little bit about where does equity and diversity come into this when we're talking about capability, when we're talking about lethality, when we're talking about morale, leadership, effective, be the best small army in the world. So here they are. Okay, the 5R service. The selflessness of character to place the security in interests of our nation and its people ahead of my own, which means the leadership has to be prepared to offend in order to pick the best team, the A team, the strongest, most resilient, stoic team if necessary to get the job done, not necessarily domestically but abroad, as we know that our Air Force, Army and Navy train for war off the shores so we can keep the enemy, the wolf, at bay. That's what they do. Brady, I hope you're not blowing kisses to me there, sir. Courage. The strength of, and this can be moral courage as well as physical, team. And this goes for everyone at every level. The strength of character to say and do the right thing, always, especially in the face of adversity. So, what happens when you work at HR like this group captain did, you know, and they came in and they said, this is the agenda we want. So we need 40% of people to represent the forces at a far lower standard in 2 or 3 different components. You know, and that in no way is meant to detract from the excellent service that we have so many of our female, of our immigrant workers that have come and joined our military forces to represent their new country, which represents their heritage now. God save the Queen. And we still call Australia home. So you've got to step up and be courage, because a leader does what is not the, what would you call it? They make the hard decisions when they're the hard times, not the easy decisions, you know, during the good times, and get the paid and get saluted and get all that sort of shit. So courage, respect, the humanity of character to value others and treat them with dignity. That has been getting done since the dawn of time. But you've also got to remember you've got the clash of cultures. If you've got the civilian and the military that combined over the top of each other, and even inside the individual himself. Navy veteran, I'm sure, acts in a lot different way when he's sitting around the table at Christmas when it's time to cut up the turkey. No one thinks about the feelings of that critter. you know, than what he does when he's on side his ship, when there's a lack of stimulus, when the dark humour comes out, but you know there's nothing behind it, until someone that doesn't quite fit in needs something to latch onto to have an excuse for why they don't get along with others, non-team members. So respect, and that includes respect yourself. You know, we're hearing at the moment, and I can't even fathom this one. I was very lucky when I went through Kapuka in the School of Infantry. It was only male dominated, and I wasn't Navy, so I'm not going to touch one of them with glee, not talking about American choir groups there. But when we're hearing now that there is people at RMC, there is people at Kapuka, you know, that have, what would we say, fraternisation. You know, I know at Kapuka, you can get kicked out real quick for fraternisation because it goes against the law of the judicial system. You know, but the respect for yourself and for others should be that you can actually operate in and around people in scant clothing, wet clothing, no clothing, and actually be trusted to be an adult about that situation as well. So, respect. We've also got integrity. That's a tough one, because quite often the machine guns of the military complex are aiming inwards, which means the leadership is more focused on internal affairs than what they are on preparing for war, it appears. Okay, excellence. The willingness of character to strive each day to be the best I can be, both professionally and personally. These words you can find on any video, whether it be David Goggins, whether it be Jocko Willenick, whether it be Joe Rogan, etc. It's one thing to say them, it's another to live by them, because it's never as clean cut as that, as we know. Now, this is why I chucked these up there. Capability, you have to be able to do your job. We've lied about capability in the military. We do it in the Navy as well, I'm sure, and the Air Force, where we got rid of what your actual scale was, where you were in the mixed, and we replaced that with NYC. That's not New York City, but we call it that, which is not yet competent or competent. Now, there's a bell curve of a police officer, for example, who's got competent with their firearm, but we know that they can go a year without firing it. And then when they do fire it, chances are there's going to be civilians, children, everyone where a round has got the capability of flying up to 300 metres with lethality. You know, that's not capable. That's not. You know, if they're inside the 21-foot rule, I get it. You've got to act now. If I was a nurse, I'd say stat. Righto? But there's a massive difference between being actual capable and not. Make sure you hit the like if you can to show the like button is capable. Courage. Courage is a tough one too. We get told what you need to do is be moral courage, stand up, be the whistleblower. But who does that serve? The hierarchy. When the hierarchy do something wrong, what do? They get out of town. You don't hear from them again. You don't see a punishment. You don't see them losing their commission unless it's absolutely impossible to avoid. You know, so there's a double standard straight up. The very person that turns up to work whenever they want to can be charging you for being 4 minutes late. Okay? Hi, Kristen. Hey, Kristen. Joshy Fawns. And this is my last negative sort of video about the military, because you have to see both sides, the flip side of the coin, so to speak. Mr. Buckaroonie, Kapuka should have male and female platoons, no co-ed. I agree with that, Mr. Buckaroonie. I agree with that for the simple reason you are not a full soldier when you were at Kapuka. You're also not a full, although you're classed as a all-service soldier when you finish Kapuka, all you didn't know how to do is to get around the area. It's after you've done that time fermented within your initial employment training where you actually start to become a semblance of someone who can answer questions with more technical requirement than basically someone that's done Kapuka, etc. I reckon it took me 24 years to become a sort of savvy soldier, to tell you the truth. We're always learning. Dave D, hot boxes and ration packs are excluded from the excellence value. Come on, Dave. Yeah, I wouldn't expect any different from someone who wants to eat with silverware outfield. Jay Frey, that's so true, Kaz. When my mate went to RMC, there were people out on field exercise cheating on their husbands and wife. Yeah, that's terrible. Red Man's here. Red Man 9. That's better than 9 Red Men. Oh, equity diversity. Be careful, Kaz. Damon's Adventures. Where have you been, sir? Just want to say thanks for all the uploads as it has helped me in what is to expect as I just applied to join the ADF last week. Tell us what core, Damon, at Matt Damon, and whatever we can do to help you. Lauren, and thank you for all those that re-signed up on Patreon. We've got some more cards that are filled out that go out tomorrow. Can't wait to send them. Keep sending us your scores. Brady Cars, so if people are going in on sexual preferences, that is their main focus agenda. They will push on everyone. It is true, and we see that happening everywhere, and that's why I say there's a massive difference between someone being gay and someone being from the LGBT community, with the LGBT community basically being a political weaponized group, I see. Whereas someone who is gay is allowed to be in my car, they're allowed to be at my house, I've got no dramas, I'll shake your hand as long as I shake anyone else's, no problem, you know. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that we know from the LGBT community, sorry, when I say that I mean guys and gals, that bat the other way, that also don't like the politics that comes with it, or being brushed with the same brush of anger and the screeching that comes. So, where are we? Let's have a look at some of the things we've written here. Sorry we didn't get time for the music, etc. Before we do that, let's look down there. What's 103,000, lest we forget? That is the people that have already fallen for Australia, although since their baptism by fire in Gallipoli, you know, and those people will continue to be added to that list. It's important that we respect their memory and remember, no one's ever claimed that we're perfect. We're not. We're learning all the time, just like you are, and hopefully in a reflective manner, where we're also able to teach what they don't teach at school anymore. I believe, please tell me in here, if someone is young enough, do they still teach about the Good Samaritan at school? Because that was one of the best lessons I learnt at school, about the people that walked past the beaten beggar, you know, and then eventually someone stopped and gave him a hand, gave him a drink. Lauren didn't know more about this, but I live my life like the Good Samaritan, like waiting on Superman from, what's his name, Daltrey, the singer. Fantastic. The world should be better because you're here. If it's not, then it's time to shut your mouth. Rule 303, okay. Benjamin, hey Ben, how you going, mate? How did you go? Hey Kaz, hey everyone. Hope we're having a glorious Monday. Benny, what happened? What happened, mate? I'm going to give you a call. Give me a thumbs up, Ben. If the answer is yes, I'm going to give you a call. I applied to go into the army with the interest of going into infantry and armoured vehicle crew. Fantastic. Time for adventure. Real soldiers will leave, and that is the cancer winning and taking over. That's the sad thing. You can push out the right people, and that's in any industry. No one is close to perfect, but hopefully we are moving in the right direction. You're right, Sanaj. You know, like I say, there was a time where I thought I was wrong in 1986, only to find out in the 2000s that I wasn't. So I was wrong when I thought I was wrong. But apart from that, let's have a look at this. Bam. Who is in charge? Remember, if you have never served in the military, and then you are the Chief of the Defence Force, Army, Air Force and Navy, General Angus Campbell, he should have some level of liberty where the politician, Richard Marles, when he says to him, I want more women, where I want more diversity, where I want more HR gravy on the military, and I want you to make it happen, he should be able to turn around and go, boom, time out. Have you ever served, Richard Marles? Do you understand what it's like to work in a submarine? Do you understand what it's like to be in a frigate, whether it's to be on an air base in Tyndall, whether it's to be part of the expeditionary force up in Darwin or the amphibious force in Townsville, and be operationally sent overseas from those you love, not knowing whether you're going to come back or not, and every day living out of a pack, never knowing when you're going to have a shower because you don't have a female in your call sign, and only females are really given a time limit on when they have to have a shower by. I'm not saying they're dirty, the army is. Okay, so he should be able to say to them, this is your political view, I am the military expert at the very top of the Air Force, Army, and Navy trifecta, and I'm telling you what you're saying is and cannot be done. I'm going to explain to you about the slowest man, what that means. I'm going to explain to you that there is nothing that stops anyone that is gay from joining the army. There is nothing that stops a minority individual from getting into the army. No special allowance should go for any minority group, not Indigenous, not female, no one. Because what happens then is capability drops, and every call sign only moves at the speed of its slowest member. So now if we have the books that are cooked and someone is allowed to come in and that person is not ready except on paper under the guise of C means capable, which means yes, they can do it when actual fact they can't. Hello, breath control. Then we're going to have a problem. Because one day you're going to be looking into the eyes of a parent and saying, what is going on here? Who is in charge? Is it the Chief of the Army? Air Force, Navy? Their representative, the Chief of the entire Defence Force, Angus Campbell? Or is it going to be Richard Marles that may not have ever have been able to necessarily play a sport or represent his country? And if he's not going to, have his kids serving? Should you be allowed to be a politician if you don't have children? That's an interesting point. If you haven't got someone in the game that you love more than yourself, what have you got to lose, truly? Navy veteran, honestly, the amount of disrespect in the ADF is why I'm currently changing course to MP. Bam! Enforce, Navy. Because I truly believe the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. Navy veteran, did you know that I actually brought that line up? Okay, I brought that up on a PTSD course. And I reminded him that is one of the reasons why I have such a hard time now, is because I can't walk past problems and I stick my nose in. And for those that don't know, Lauren knows, I'm a little bit Shylocky here. When you've got a big nose and you stick it into other people's business, sometimes it can get flattened. But I can't walk past litter. I can't walk past someone who looks evidently in pain, flat tyre, etc. It's a tough one, but once it's in your soul, it makes you feel good. Nice to see you live, RDR2, Gaming Ultra. Hey mate, how you going? Mr. Buckaroony. We've got Jabba here with a retracted message. I don't know what you said there, mate. Hey, Kane from up north at Mackay. How's your girlfriend? Is she still around? Sworn defender, back to earlier convo. My school's motto was RISE. It stood for respect, integrity, service and excellence. Okay, great word, but what did it mean? They push these qualities pretty hard, and it's the one thing from the school that stayed with me. Did they adhere to Anzac Day and Remembrance Day? What about those two? Did they teach you about history? All of these interesting things about animals, all that sort of shit. Be gay and join the army, sure, but don't expect special treatment exactly. Don't go in and try to prove something because you're label. That's right. Absolutely. Your allegiance has to be to the flag that you were paid to represent. Dave D, there's only two grades, competent and not yet competent. There is no competent but. Correct. But we all know that that's true too, Dave. We know that that is not necessarily legit. You know, Mr. Buckaroony, Indigenous people have a course that gets them to speed before they join, education requirements, etc. Great idea. Once they are in, they need to come up to the standard. Where are we? They need to come up to the standard the way it should be. Having said that, I'm not a fan. That should be done before they actually get their bucko, for the simple reason that if there's an easy handball, AFL there, that comes your way and someone gets through, and I had a good conversation about this yesterday, sometimes the cruelest thing you can do is give someone an opportunity that they do not qualify for and tell them everything is going to be okay, i.e. females for infantry. Okay, it could be Indigenous for their military, and you can have one that is absolutely a high C, high competent, but you can have one that is extremely NYC, just like you can with anyone, but the dispersions aren't happening to the person, okay, like Johnny on the spot. But if I'm Indigenous and I'm not up to the standard, okay, and I'm not able to learn at the level of training that's required, but then I get a political allowance for me to go in, then all of a sudden I'm surrounded by people that are always waiting for me, trying to force me even higher so I can fail even faster. But then the time for education is out the way. Now it's time for action and capability. And I'm at the School of Infantry or the School of Armour on a field firing range, a C-class range, movement box with live ammunition. And I'm thinking, mate, I can't keep up with the training. I got a special allowance here. I got waved through, go past, go. You know, what happens when that person is behind you and it's actually not their fault because they kept getting projected forward, pushed forward beyond their ability to achieve the C, and end up ultimately being part of an accident where they are injured or someone else is injured, or they go home a broken man or woman because they ended up getting pushed to the point of failure in something that they thought they were kicking goals in. And that's why I think it's not fair to the individual who actually gets pushed forward beyond their ability. And that goes for promotions as well. They kind of talked about that at my school. Yeah. And for people, what do we got there? Hey, Navy veteran, here's our weekly beer ration, Sarge. Sorry, sir. Taste of what to get on operations. Boom. Again, and I'm gonna put that towards McDonald's coffee. I love it. Hi bye Lukey. That's a good name, Hi bye Lukey. Jebba, because no one actually talks from the perspective of what if you actually set someone up for an even bigger fall by opening the door for them. It's like lying to Brady Cars and telling him that beautiful girl on the bar likes him, so he spends an entire night trying to buy her drinks, you know, thinks that he's kicking goals, only at the end of the night to find out that he was the butt of the joke. Jebba, hey team, today I passed an Army enlistment day, and I got my three chosen jobs: infantry, armoured corps, and mortars. So that's artillery now, yeah? And couldn't have done it without Kaz having access to the bat phone. Jebba, Nutsu cow, love it, thank you. Make sure you call me later. Let's have a chat and see how it went so you can update my database of what you need. Elijah, that's so right, Kaz. They're jumping in the deep end with absolutely no experience whatsoever. Why should they be allowed to try and swim when we all know that these people cannot? But diversity. Okay. Jennifer, a surgeon must be of a certain standard. Yes, I want a surgeon that is competent, not diverse. Absolutely. A sworn defender. And good to see you in good spirits there too, Jen. Jay, I thought the rubber glove is when the fun starts. Mine is still inside me, I reckon. I reckon that's where my bowel problems came from. Mr. Bryce. Navy veteran, did you know when you get to, if you get posted to, and Navy can do it too, mate, if you get posted to the Sinai, I know what the price is now, but it was 50 cents for a Corona. 50 cents. I'm not talking about black rappers. Lord, how can you drink Macca's coffee? I think it's the best gourmet coffee there is. IQ neg, does Kapika still test basic literacy and numeracy? No, it's already been checked by having a pass in Year 10 English and Maths, mate. Jack Cartridge, nice work, Gebba. Yeah, let's get some thumbs up for Gebba there. You know, it won't be long before he's got boots that don't fit, tracksuit pants that don't fit, yelling out hallway 45, wondering how the hell did this get to this. Good on you, mate. How's the paintings going, Lauren? I've seen a few of them. They're going bloody well. Lauren Kaz was an infantry sergeant with over 20 years experience. Certainly was. I wasn't the best, but I was nowhere near the worst, and I was never in the bottom half. Tropical salt. That sounds like it'd be good for Jock Right. Jock Right. Tropical salt. Resilience. You're not resilient if you can't handle an opposing opinion of your views. Yep. How can you be resilient if someone is shooting at you? Absolutely. And look, tropic salt, I think there is absolutely time within different periods of syndicate work between ranks where officers, commissioned officers, NCOs, ORs should all be sitting in one location and actually get, with no disrespect, just like it's an after-action review, let's sit down and talk about what is going on. Now, that shouldn't be the officers, it shouldn't be the platoon commander and his own team. He should have to go to another platoon and talk to soldiers. So everyone is completely mixed up so that then there's not a harbouring of ill will after that event. Where are we? Unknown Jack Coach Benjamin. Kaz, if you could go back in time, would you be a sergeant or a captain? Sergeant every time. Unless it was a captain of a ship, and then I'd be on an icebreaker in the North Pole. Go and watch Kate. Sorry, what's his name? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Second line. Boom. What about our Anzacs? We've discussed that before. All of the things that get thrown at us today, whether it be misogyny, whether it be that the Australian Army's got some death cult sort of fixation with symbology and all that sort of crap. It's just pop art. That's all it is. It's just a, what would we say? It's just your franchise representing into an emblem. You know, we're not necessarily too far from being children the best of times. And if you allow people to have an element of agency over their team, then they're going to be more patriotic to that team, you know, to training in their own time, to being held accountable for being the slowest person, and that's going to step everything up, and at the end of the day, that makes us a more scary, best small army in the world. G'day, Simon Powell. How you going, mate? Good evening, all. Sorry I'm late. That's what she said. And now I'm a father. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I dare you to press the like button. Benjamin Corrin. The Anzacs inspire people to be true warriors. There's nothing more noble in my opinion. Absolutely, and they didn't claim to be perfect either, just like we don't now. Okay, but unfortunately, the measurement stick today seems like no one can measure up to anything, doesn't it? You know, if someone has to say to you what are the core values of the Australian Army, and you're in the Australian Army, and you can't rattle them off, then maybe they're not common sense either. Or maybe they're a fugazi, they're a fake version of what we say we are, but not necessarily. Leo! So what about our Anzacs? They were fine. They got the job done. And guess what? We needed their toxic masculinity to get the job done, especially at Beersheba, especially at Villas Bredno. What about Gallipoli, the baptism by fire? What about the Hawk? Lord, Kaz, I've been busting my butt to get fitness up. Your older videos helped get me going months ago. Beat a 12 on the beep test the other day, but since then I can't even hit 8. Normal? No, that's not normal, Lord. Have you done yourself an injustice? Have you had COVID recently and didn't know it? Have you had an adverse condition reaction to the vaccine? Jack, would be good to connect with you somehow, Unknown Fox. There we go. Arcane, Sworn Defender, just got back from a successful fishing trip, but yeah, things are okay apart from me. Apart from that, how about you? Carl is big. Navy veteran. Honestly, Kaz, I don't think I could be a civilian. It is hard, mate. It is damn hard. It's a daily task, to tell you the truth. I don't know what I would do without my brothers and sisters. It scares me more than deployments. Mate, me too. Hashtag me too. It absolutely does. And that is because you get scared to open your mouth. Because when you've been in for a long time, your normal conversation is like asinine with civilian conversation, which tends to be fairly thin. They're not better, they're not worse. Okay, but it seems to be the crust of stepping carefully around subjects and not ever going near actual, critical thinking or investigative until people know you enough that they can actually communicate with you, which is the reason why all of a sudden they become normal people at about 11 o'clock at a backyard piss-up. Kaz, is it worth joining with all the bullshit going on right now? Absolutely it is, because you know what? It doesn't affect you in the battalion. The people that join for the wrong reasons tend to leave at Kapuka. They tend to not make it to the units, and if they do so, they don't last long. And no matter what you do, there's no such thing as a perfect platoon, perfect Navy crew, unless you've purged out the rot. And then the rot, for some reason, get replaced. I'm so grateful to this community. Navy veterans, great to have you here. Anchorman. Hello, Anchorman. Unknown Fox was Hallway 42, 2016 for me. Well done. I know that, Fox. What were we going to say? Guys and gals, a quick one, in case you didn't know. Let me see if I can put this up here quickly. Where are we? I've got something, usually hearing my voice all the time. All the time. So what we're looking at doing, what are we here? What's this one? Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what video we're going to be putting out at this stage tomorrow to give you a chance to have a voice. You are the voice of reason. Sorry about my voice there, team. Where is it? I made it today for tomorrow for you. Lauren's done it. Mr. Buckarooni's done it. Ed B has done it. You're about to... Oh, is that it there? No. Where are you? Where art thou? I'm just looking on the computer here, team. No. I'm just looking for the thumbnail I made today for you. Oh, why wouldn't it be this bottom one here? Well, this is what it is, but what it hasn't got on there is the full Monty, so to speak. Transform, fit to screen, bam. So what this is going to be is this is a session that's coming out tomorrow where I'm going to be asking for you, do you want to come on and do a Zoom call? Not where there's just one of us. I will be on there. Lauren may be on there. But I want there to be between 4 and 6 people actually on the screen at once with their Zoom call set up. We've all been through COVID, so everyone should know how it works now, and be able to be in a communal group where we talk about different things, where we control the conversation. It goes around, and there will be diversity of opinion instead of a circle jerk, where you will actually get a chance to ask questions, to answer questions, and to actually have a space where you can communicate. And this is great for practicing also your public speaking. And then what happens is I go and edit and make sure if you've made a dick of yourself or you've said something that you think is counterproductive to your existence or future employment, I can cut it out. Okay? All I ask is you turn up with your adult A-frame ready to go, able to communicate, and we'll be good to go. If you want to do that, all that simply happens is when the video comes out, you let us know in the comments, and then from there we'll get in touch. It'd be preferable if you're a member or a Patreon member, but it'll be open to both, and you'll be able to come in and have a gas bag. And I won't always tell you what the topic is going to be, so that'll be interesting. Righto, next one. How does a woke agenda improve the A-team? Now, if a group of people that they want to be in there aren't volunteers, they've just been told the money is right and offered this, that and the other to come in and represent as a political stance, so to speak, how does it actually help the A-team who are preparing for war 24/7? You know? Where are we? I'd love to, but ADF police, all that shit. Navy, you're right, mate. If you're in the Air Force, Army or the Navy right now, you're not allowed to do it for the simple fact that you've got a media officer that will tell you they're allowed to talk, but you're not. Gag order, for those that don't know, you've got on you once you're in the military. Just realised I am behind in the stream, but I got pushed through the HSC when I should have been held back. Okay, Lloydie. Agenda, lots of love, Kaz, these puns. Lord Marek. That's all right, mate. All for the love. What else have we got? The slowest man. Remember, my mantra always is, how dare you? I said mantra. My people-tra, person-tra, gender pronoun, mate or rank. Guys, the slowest man, if you're that person, regardless of who you are, what your sexuality is, you know that you are the direct reason why your call sign, is not better than what it is. If you are the last man, then you need to look at yourself harshly. Don't be that person. As a matter of fact, you should always be in the top half. And if everyone did that, that means one day when you're the one on the goddamn stretcher crying for your mum, that you've got a better chance of getting back within the golden hour. And that's a fact. Jack! Is Jack here? Thomas A. Kaz, mate, got my assessment day tomorrow, applying as infantry full time. Good luck, mate. You don't need luck. All you need to do is go and look at my assessment video again. Make sure nothing falls out your A hole, not your A team, when you bend down to show them you can walk like a duck. And I'll tell you one thing here, I'm not trying to be dirty. But guys and gals, do not masturbate the night before you go in and do a urine test. They told me when I had to fill a pathologist's 4-litre bottle with urine, okay, that I had to do pees in that for 24 hours to prove I didn't have a protein problem, when in actual fact all it took was a confession that yes, Kaz is a wanker. So don't do that. It will affect your test. Okay, good luck one on that. Tropic Salt, get John J on the Zoom call. Just an idea. Johnny Jordan. He's a John Jordan legend within the military. Yeah? Gay. I don't think he sees himself as LGBT, but he's an awesome bloke. Taught us all so much about ourselves. You know, Johnny Maurice. G'day, mate. Lauren is shining. The slowest man. Don't be that one. I don't need to say anything more about that. You know, and sadly, we get people that turn up all the time saying, my fitness level is here when the requirement is here. What can I do about it? I'm saying, get off the lounge. If you can't improve yourself, you need to spend money and go to a boot camp and tell them this is the standard you need to achieve within this line, then train like Conor McGregor to get the job done. And if you fail, oh well, at least you put your money where your mouth is, got some good joggers and got on with it and did the best, and say, I honestly gave it everything I had and I'm not cut out for this. Got to tug out those nerves, says Foxy. Okay, and imagine not getting in for lack of protein because you can't stop the beat. Well, Michael Jackson told me, beat it. Just beat it. That was probably what I was listening to as well. That's not helping, Foxy. Kaz, what if you have a cramp? What do you mean? When? Tracy Chapman, Revolution. Good, great song. Josh Fawns, one of my favourite songs. We've been on it for 42 minutes with change. And Navy veteran Kaz, how can we please get a video for the veterans of the community in how to adjust to civilian life? I'm not leaving, but sadly someone may have chosen to leave at the end of the year. Okay, Navy veteran, that is a fantastic one. Mate, that will be one of my next videos. One of my next videos is going to be that. Because I think that is a fantastic one. I did have videos about that in my last channel that got taken by someone of colour. But we won't talk about that. Same colour as his paper, actually. Okay. Life after military. Navy veteran. Absolute pleasure to do that for you, mate, because that is very important. And that's giving you back to your family, isn't it? Back to your kids, back to your wife, back to your cabin boy. Very important. Paging Dr. Beat, says Jack. Been said to me, if we get an Echo Company again, I'll most likely be easy to pick out, as I believe I get my old PM keys back. There we go. Mr. Buckaroon is saying entering civilian street after 20 years in the army was rather scary. It was a whole new world. We're seeing all the puns coming out from the Disney movies here. It's a whole new world. Be sending them your way, mate. It's sometimes it just takes the conversation that they have with someone they don't know, that they can actually listen to Navy veteran, and then from there realise, okay, I'm not the only one in this position, because when you're actually in the military, It is absolutely daunting when you go and look for help, ask for help, and they're all going, we're still in. We don't know what you're talking about. Can't help you. And then now that it used to be 6 months and it's 3 months to get out, the discharge cell doesn't always, they will tell you too that it's not our job to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. But when you get out, a lot of the time you've only got a semblance of the horsepower required to think for yourself, because you're normally not getting out from your own choice, so to speak. Do some reaction videos too. Anthony Goldner, they're my favourite thing. They absolutely are my favourite thing. So the two videos I need to do in the next 2 days is the video on when people get out of the military for Navy veteran, and the other one, and I'll be drinking his coffee while I do so, and the other one will be for those that want to come and join me on a Skype call, and that should be at least once a week, where we get people on. And then what we might do is ask ladies and gentlemen through Facebook, if you want. I might have to end up going back to Facebook and allowing people to come in there, understanding my priority always has to be to those on Patreon and members, and see what we can do there about changing like the chameleon does. Unknown's got no hair either. I'll have glasses on. The best part is you have to pay for a haircut when you get them. I'm not sure about that. I've got long locks. Guys and gals, what else did we have? Okay, why the people that won't defend are speaking the loudest? That is a point that makes me always wonder. Why is it the people that have never served or done your job always the loudest people about the way things should be done? How can you train to be a bayonet fighter without toxic masculinity? Because women will do the bayonet fighting too. Okay, when you have to push yourself further than what you would ever do for the money you get paid. If someone said, I will, how much would they have to pay you to go to Tully? The only reason you go to Tully and you finish everything you start is because of professionalism, because of capability, courage, mateship, respect, and legacy. That's why. They're the words that came off the top of my tongue because they made sense. Capability, can I do my job? Can I really do the CCs? Yes, I can. Courage, do I have it? Have I proved it? Yes, I have. What about mateship? Yep, I've had some areas too where I'm not proud of. Okay, I get that. But I never claim to be perfect, except in the bedroom. Now, respect. I'm getting better at respect, or at least, I'm being very picky who I be honest with, okay, because we live in a minefield in today's day and age, believe me. Never text anything that can incriminate you. Believe me. Legacy. I care about what my daughter thinks of me. I care about our soldiers. I care about the military. When I see someone, for some reason, it's always Air Force, they're wearing a uniform badly, I want to go over and say, what are you doing? Put your goddamn hat on. Why have you got your sleeves rolled up with such small arms? All of these questions come to me. Lauren, unknown, Jack, unsure of the change. Jordan Towner. Okay, mate. Hey, Kaz, are employees obliged by law to allow flexible hours so I can attend my Army Reserve parades? I believe they are up to a certain amount. I currently have to do 60 hours a week, and they're not too fond on dropping a day. Jordan, what you'd have to do is come up with a... there'll be people that know about that, and I'd talk to your unit about that, and there'd be some sort of bargaining agreement you would do which gives a certain amount of restricted service to your employer, but also understand that your employer, unless it's a government job, which would definitely allow you to go, your employer gets paid for the inconvenience of you going and being trained as an Army Reservist. They get paid. So whoever or whatever your position is, that money will get there to compensate them and allow them to put someone else on part-time if that's the case. And then you come back and you become more of an asset to that team. Yeah. Not can I do my job, it's can I do my duty. That's it, Navy veteran. Absolutely. The things that we do that you couldn't pay someone to do if it was a dare, just because that's our job and you don't want to let down the people that you're going to help, or if you say you're going to be somewhere, you've got to be there. Benjamin, I guess I won't be able to roll up my sleeves. It's only 21. I'm only 21 on the BMI test. Standard for the Army is 18.5. For the BMI. Okay. Simon's got to go. I hope it wasn't because we just bagged the RAF again. Take it easy, Simon. And stay safe. Later, Kaz and team. Mr. Bryce is gone as well. He's got his bike to start up, I'm sure. Thanks. I tried explaining that to them, but they just don't want to put any other inexperienced drivers to replace me. Thanks anyway, mate. Jordan. It's all good, mate. Michael Jordan. Catch you, Simonski, says Benny. And good night, Miss Lauren. Also, if you have Discord, Jack. Okay, the reason why we'd spoken about getting a... what would we say? We'd spoken about getting a Discord for this channel, but I thought it would be just too hectic, too crazy. And this is the sort of channel, if you had that, you know, it'd be like herding cats, to tell you the truth. 2 days to the assessment day. I'm shitting bricks. Sinan, all you need to do, mate, is go and look at the assessment session again. Okay, from there, you know, guys, anyone, if you are nervous, when in doubt, get on Patreon and jump on here for the price of a coffee, and I will talk to you and get you ready. In the absence of being ready, if you're not. If you've got something to be nervous of, is there something that they don't know about you? Okay? If you have something wrong, then maybe you should be nervous. Otherwise, you're nervous because you care. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sinan, you Sinan. Nutsu Cow, how you going? That's a BMI character right there. Would also like to say thank you for a great career to the Williams sisters that just retired, I believe. Delicious. I hope the lady, that senior female recruitment officer that resigned over the actual tickets, the targets and the for the different groups, I hope she's got something good to go to, and I hope that she was absolutely respected for her decision to step down, because she's gone through a lot of training to get to the position, to be let down by the leadership to the point where she made the decision, I will not do an unlawful order and I am getting out. What I mean by unlawful? If you are making special dispositions to allow people that are not to the standard or come in at a lower standard, and that's preferential treatment over those that come in at a higher standard, then you're ultimately responsible for making your call sign weaker than what it's meant to be. Therefore, you are purposely, as the Commander-in-Chief, making your call sign weaker. What do I mean by that? Navy veteran, I'm not sure if you do it over there. Do you do IMAP? Okay, IMAP, for people that have never done it before, or only done a little bit of it, okay, they don't necessarily understand it or like it. It's an American concept, is the individual military appreciation process, as opposed to military appreciation process for larger groups. What that does is it allows you to be completely discriminative to your own call sign, to really work out what the weaknesses are within your team, okay, but also what the strengths are and where you need to do your job, and that's an important thing to do. Remember, guys, want to serve Queen and Country? Don't think you can't sleep. Don't think you sleep in a hole. Consider joining the Royal Australian Navy. It's not a job, it's a family. Enlist now, freedom and democracy. Yeah, you know, Navy. You know that'd be my second job, and I've slept in a lot of holes, and I don't mean the suburbs of Townsville. Yeah. Oh, you've got it too, Navy. When you actually do the individual military appreciation process, and you fully extrapolate all the information about those you're up against, but also the topography, also what your weapons capabilities are, what it allows you to do is actually focus on what the holes in your plan are that allow you to look at the critical vulnerabilities with your own call sign while not assuming what the enemy is going to do because you just don't know. Okay? And what that allows you to do is come up with courses of action. Okay? What it brings up is possible enemies' courses of actions, what their center of gravity is. So instead of actually having to go in there and just line up and fight like that, you look at where they derive their ability to stay focused on the fight, and you take that away from them. Okay, and when you take that away from them, the leadership starts to fold. The will to be there starts to fold, and then what you see is a political pressure to get the hell out of Dodge, which normally happens not too long after. Plenty of ways we can do that, and it's not something to talk about. I could have a conversation with you how you do it, but you don't want to know, okay, on the stream here. Fugly, last stream I can probably get to for a long time. Maternity leave runs out tomorrow. Fugly, you're still the glazier, mate. Fugly's over in Western Australia. You know, he's got a lovely missus. He's got kids, and he's been with us basically forever. Mr. Buccarini, I also get car sick and seasick, and I'm scared of heights and I hate small spaces. But I do like watching boils get burst. Foxy, I'm holding off on having kids because I want to rank first. I believe it would be hard to do sub 4 while having kids, especially at the same time, Foxy. They are unpredictable. You know what else, Foxy? When you have children, you completely change as a human being. Completely. You know, I was selfish as fuck before I had my daughter, and all of a sudden, lights came on, and now I'm as emotional as buggery. Having children means you've ticked off the list of biology of things that you had to achieve in this lifetime, to tell you the truth. Not everyone can. You know, I feel sorry for great men or great girls that can't have children. Men may not be able to because they're unable to attract someone who will let them. Okay? You might have ladies that can't because of medical or because they let their career go too long. There is no perfect time. Okay, no, Chasm a fleet controller now. Oh, well done, mate. Well done, Fugly. It's great to have you here from Western Australia, mate. Hopefully Gina's well as well. Gina Reinhardt. Ozanin. Dave D, I've brought it up to my chain of command several times with a few different employees. They always cave to the employees' chain of command words. They pay your bills, don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. Okay. Foxy, that's also a reason why I don't want kids yet, because I'm selfish as hell. That's all right. That's okay, Foxy. You know, and this is what we talk about being an adult. There is nothing wrong with saying, this is who I am, this is what I am right now. Am I willing to change? Absolutely. But out of loyalty to the way I think myself is I'm not ready for kids yet, but don't let it go for too long, because I tell you what, they are awesome. Or at least biology tells us mentally that they are. I've got a kid and one on the way. Mrs. says I'm still selfish. Says the sworn defender. That's gold. I'm selfish for sleep, but I don't get much of it, team. Guys, we're going to get out of here. Remember that, where are we? Bam. We're going to be fielding who wants to go and talk, who wants to come on here. Just as an easy litmus test, so to speak. Put a thumb up if you would be willing to come on for a 20-minute, 25-minute Zoom call in the future, where you won't be the only individual. There'll be 4 or 5 other people on there as well, where you'd like to come on and have a conversation. You know, before you get in the army, about join the army, about whatever you want to talk about. Because each person should come on with one question as well that they'd like answered. Foxy, it's all good, mate. Thank you for being here. Foxy, that's a contradiction. You want to spare them a negative experience, which means you're thinking of having them. You're not selfish. You might just be a little scared. Yep. You know, this is the best world we've ever had. Let's not shy away from that. We've got a lot of people telling us that life is not what they thought it was going to be, but that's part of being an adult too. So Foxy said she'd like to come on. Arcane says he'd like to come on. Jack said to be willing to come on. So did Joshy Fawns, willing to come on. Good stream tonight, Kaz and team. Well, it's great to come on and not actually come on with bluster and come on with anger or resentment. But you never know when someone that's watching might be of the hierarchy and start to think, yeah, let's not go down that way, you know. What if everyone, you know, came on for political means? There's something funny is when someone who is, should you have them at 40? I had my daughter at 40 and I feel old because of it, believe me. When someone from the left, I'll call it that, when they meet someone who's further left than them, then they realise that they're now in the targets. You can never go far enough left. You can't. Brady said he'd jump on. Jennifer G. Wood. Lukey Davis. Okay, Benjamin. So we've got enough there. That's great. All right, guys, come on Lisbon Day next week. Thanks for all the videos and streams. Chips, I love yous. I'm a gobbledock. All right, we can get out of here, guys and gals. Just remember, what did I call the name of this one? Australian Army core values and capabilities now come behind diversity, etc. Let's not let that occur. Because the people that are on the line, regardless of who they are, deserve to have the best person beside them. And they also need to be given a certain level of benefit of the doubt and diplomatic immunity to bad behaviour at times. Because when you see what it's like to have that life, to have no escape, you know, to be carrying, like we discussed in the last video, and you're up to 60 to 70 kilos of equipment, you go in a tropical environment, and that's just talking about Timor. There's other areas all over the world. They're all uncomfortable. When you don't know when you're going home and you don't have internet, you're not allowed to take your phone. You've got OPSEC security. You know, the devil makes playthings out of our hands. Sometimes we're not proud of what we do to pass time. But generally, almost everyone I've seen has an affection for the people of the country that are in plight. You know, Australians help more people than we hurt. And that's a fact, Jack. And you should be really proud of the actions of those individuals. Because they always, too, police those that act in an inappropriate behaviour. You do not get away with shit, believe me. All right, guys and gals, let's get out of here. And as a conclusion to tonight, do not let politics, okay, or those with pens overpower those that carry swords. Because at the end of the day, the wolf is sharpening his teeth on the daily while you're sleeping, and he is always ready, always trying to lure the Labrador out so he can take him down in the night, okay, using deception and cruelty. They are willing to go a lot further.